Welcome to our series on Rambam's Hilchot Talmud Torah. We are going to do the second chapter, and we'd like to dedicate this episode in memory of Levi ben Moshe Esther and Elisheva Yael ben Levi, and also in memory of Rabbi Moshe, Rabbi Roni Salach ben Avram Ezra. And I'm going to hand you over to Michael.
Thank you, Rabbi Moshe. So in this, the second chapter of Hilchot Talmud Torah, we're going to discuss the different aspects of teaching children location-wise and other aspects. So let's start. Halacha Aleph. Moshivin melamdei tinokot b'chol medina u'medina u'b'chol pelech u'felech u'b'chol ir va'ir. Teachers of small children should be located in each and every land, in each and every region, and each and every village. So I'd like to stop there and bring something from Baba Basra 21 Amud Aleph, a mention of one of the innovators of the Jewish education, Yehoshua ben Gamla. So I quote from the Baba Basra 21 Amud Aleph. Remember that man for good. Yehoshua ben Gamla is his name. Were it not for him, the Torah would have been forgotten by the Jewish people. Originally, a person who had a father would be instructed by him, while a person who had no father would not be instructed. Afterwards, they instituted the practice of employing teachers of young children in Yerushalayim, as implied by Yeshaya 2:3, "From Zion shall go forth the Torah." Nevertheless, whoever had a father would be taken to Yerushalayim, while one who did not have a father would not be taken there. Accordingly, they instituted the practice of employing teachers in each and every region. They would begin study at 16 or at 17. However, if a student's teacher was angry with him, the student would most of the time scoff at him and leave. This situation persisted until Yehoshua ben Gamla came and instituted the practice of employing teachers of young children in each and every land, in each and every region, and in each and every village. They would bring the children to the schools at the age of 6 or 7. So important to mention the innovators of our sort of education system, Torah education system. And Rambam continues, V'chol she'en ba tinokot shel bet Rabban. If a village does not have children who study Torah, machrimim et anshe ha'ir. The city's populace is placed under the ban of ostracism, ad shemoshivin melamdei tinokot, until they employ teachers for the children. Ve'im lo hoshivu machrimin et ha'ir. If they do not employ teachers, the city deserves to be destroyed. She'en ha'olam mitkayem ela havel pihem shel tinokot shel bet Rabban. Since the world only exists by the virtue of the breath coming from the mouths of children who study Torah. Halacha 2. Machnisim et ha-tinokot lehitlamed keven shesh Kaven Sheva. Children should be brought to study under the teacher's instruction at the age of 6 or 7. Lefi koach haben or binyan gufo, according to the child's health and build. Or fachot meben shesh en machnisin oto. Below the age of 6, he should not be brought to a teacher. Or makeh otan hamlamed lahatil alehem eimar. A teacher may employ corporal punishments to cast fear upon the students. And it's funny that we are told here that this is the idea of corporal punishment. And the very famous quote that I didn't realize was from Proverbs 13:24, "He that spares the rod spoils the child." I didn't realize that was King Solomon. Who made that? It's very interesting.
I actually heard that from your brother, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brother Rafi.
Right. And Rambam continues, "Ve'eno makeh otam mekat oyev makat achzari." But, however, he should not beat them cruelly like an enemy. Lefichach shelo yakeh otam b'shotim v'lo b'maklot ela b'rutzua katana. Therefore, he should not beat them with a rod or a staff, but rather a small strap. And Rambam continues, V'yoshev u'melamdan kol hayom kula u'miktzat min halayla k'dei lechanchon lilmod hayom u'valayla. The teacher should sit and instruct them the entire day and for a portion of the night, to train them to study during the day and night. Below yivtalu hatinokot klal chutz me'arvei shabbatot b'yamim tovim b'sof hayamim. The children should not neglect their studies at all, except at the end of the day, on the eve of Shabbos and the festivals, and on the festivals themselves. Oviyamim tovim. Oviyamim tovim. Aval b'Shabbat en korim batchila. On Shabbos they should not begin new material. Aval shonim v'rishon. However, they should review what was previously studied. This is because for grasping, the idea of not learning new material on Shabbos is that it shouldn't involve strain or difficulty whilst on Shabbos. So on Shabbos it's time for chazorah and not to start new work, so to speak. Rambam continues, "Ve'ein mavtilin hatinokot va'afilu levinyan bet hamikdash." However, the children should never be interrupted from their studies, even for the building of the temple. Quite a serious thing. We look at Shabbat 119b. It makes the statements in the context of its description of the great merit in the children's study, as mentioned in the previous halacha. This appears to be Rambam's logic in this whole entire halacha. Since children's study is so important, no unnecessary interruptions should be made. The rigorous schedule of study is not followed today. Amongst the reasons given are the different goals for Torah study at present from those in the previous generations. So very interesting, the importance indicated by the Rambam for the child's education. Halacha 3. Melamed hatinokot shehu maniach hatinokot v'yotze o shehu oseh malacha acheret imahem. A teacher of children who leaves the children and goes out, or remains with them but performs other work, o shehu matrashel belimudam, or is lazy in their instruction, Harezeh Bichlal is indeed included in the admonition that is quoted from Yirmiyahu, Aru Oseh Mal'echet Hashem Remiyah. Cursed is he who performs God's work deceitfully. Lefichach ein ro'oi lahoshiv melamed. Therefore, it is only proper to select a teacher who is God-fearing, Elal Ba'al Yireh, Mahir Likra Uldak Kedek, and he teaches the children proficiently and instructs them diligently. Halacha 4. U'mi she'en lo isha, a man who is unmarried, lo yilamed tinokot, should not teach children, mipnei amosehem, because of the mothers who will visit the children. Habaot etzel menehem. V'chol isha lo tilmad tinokot. No woman should teach children, mipnei avotehem, because of the fathers who visit, shehem ba'im etzel abanim, because of the fathers who visit the children. Halacha 5. Esrim v'chamisha tinokot Lemeidim etzel melamed echad. A maximum 25 students study under one teacher. Ayu yoter ad esrim v'chemisha. If there are more than 25, or arba'im moshivim amo imo acher lesa'aro balumadam. If there are more than 25 but fewer than 40, an assistant is appointed to help in their instructions. Hayu yoter al arba'im ma'amidim lahem shnei mlindei tinokot. If there are more than 40 students, 2 teachers are appointed. Halacha 6. Molichin et katan melamed lim lamed acher. If child may be transferred from one teacher to another teacher, shehu mahir mimenu, ben b'mikra ben b'duk, who is capable of teaching him at a faster pace, whether in regard to the written law itself or grammar. This applies when both are located in the same city. And there is not a river between them. Aval me'ir le'ir, or mitzad hanahar litzdo afilu ba'ota ha'ir en molechin et hakatan. However, a child should not be forced to travel from city to city, or even from one side of a river to the other in the same city. Unless there was a strong elo im ken haya binyan bri al gabei hanahar binyan she'eno ra'oi lipol b'mheira. Unless there is a strong bridge which is not likely to fall readily over into the river. Halacha 7. Echad mibnei mavo shebikesh lehei osot melamed afilu echad mibnei hachatzer en yicholim shechenov lamachot biyado. If a person whose house opens to an alleyway to which other houses open, or even one whose house opens to a courtyard to which other houses open, desires to become a teacher of children, his neighbors may not protest against his decision. V'chein melamed tinokot shebo chavero or patach bayit lelamed tinokot bitzado. Similarly, should one teacher of children come and open his schoolroom next to the place where a colleague is teaching, כדי שיבואו תינוקות אחרים לו, או כדי שיבואו בתינוקות של זה אצל זה, אינו יכול למחות בידו. So that other children will come to him, or so that the children studying under his colleague shall come to him, his colleague may not lodge a protest against him. Shneema, as it is stated in the Shaya 42:21, Hashem chofetz leman sitko yagdil Torah v'yadeh. God desired, for the sake of righteousness, to make the Torah great and glorious. So let's explain this very quickly, this concept. In Hilchot Shechenim 6:8, the Rambam mentions certain restrictions which the owners of houses which open to common alleyway can impose on each other. For example, one may not open a tailor shop or leather works because of the inconvenience and discomfort which might be caused. Though the opening of a schoolroom may also cause discomfort because the parents will frequently visit and the children may make noise, the study of Torah is important enough to override these considerations. And also from Hilchot Shechenim, even though such a practice would not be allowed in any other profession, if a new competitor came from a different country, an exception is made regarding teaching of the Torah. And Bava Basra 21a is the source for this halacha, does not quote this verse, but rather explains, and I quote, the envy of the teachers will increase knowledge. So competition breeds competition, so to speak. Yad Malachi explains that the Rambam frequently substitutes a different verse or explanation for the one quoted by the Talmud if he feels that his choice is more explanatory. However, the advantage of the verse chosen by the Rambam over the reason given by the Talmud requires explanation. In resolution, it can be understood that this law has two dimensions, one relevant to the laws governing the consideration of neighbours must afford to each other and the possibility of competition between them, and one relevant to the laws of Torah study. The Talmudic passage cited previously deals primarily with the rights of neighbours, the Hilchot Shechenim. Thus, it explains to a person who might feel that a colleague has overstepped his rights that he himself will benefit because the spirit of competition will motivate him to increase his own Torah knowledge. In contrast, in these halachot, the Rambam deals primarily with the importance of Torah study. Therefore, he quotes a verse which emphasizes how important the increase of Torah study is. Hashem chofetz leman sidko yagdil Torah v'yadeh. God desired, for the sake of His righteousness, to make the Torah great and glorious. And that concludes the second perek of Hilchot Talmud Torah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael. That's very, very interesting. All these things, you would think they're obvious, but a lot of them are sadly neglected, and we're not familiar with them anymore. But they are solid halachot and how we are supposed to approach Torah. Okay, thank you so much, Michael. We look forward to the next parak. Please God in good time, and in the meantime, I wish you a wonderful and blessed week.